we're on.
All right. Good evening, everyone. We are back with the second part of a two-part one-shot for Call of Cthulhu. This is being taken from one of the modules. We are going to be finishing it up tonight. We're going to be doing a little bit of a recap. We do have a new player who is going to be playing in the place of Samuel, or for Samuel, in place of one of the players that was here previously, is no longer with us, unfortunately. Real life took its toll, and he had to leave the server that we all play on. So our friend Zypher decided to step in and play his character. So when Samuel, if you're following this from the previous session, when Samuel has a very different accent from what he did on the last session, you'll understand why. Zypher has taken over the character of Samuel. Go ahead and say hello, Samuel, so that people recognize the new voice.
Well, I'm here to sell cars and solve mysteries.
Yep, that's the new Samuel. So as a slight recap, we started off last time with basically a kidnapping. Jane Strong, the daughter of Lucas Strong, one of the town's bigwigs, a big water CEO or water board head. His daughter was kidnapped by a group, and during the ransom exchange, there was some gunfire. No one knows who shot first, and Jane Strong and the money went missing back into the forest. And a posse was formed by the sheriff of the town, who put together people in groups to go out and look for Jane Strong. One of that groups has our intrepid team here, Mr. Aldous Henry Stevens, Samuel Montgomery, who you just heard from, and Deputy Collins, working together as a group, who all have various reasons for being in this group together. The sheriff sent them down the middle of the forest, where the most action took place during the firefight, as they wait for the feds to arrive. In their search for young Jane Strong, they have been walking through the woods and following a trail where they came across a hunter and his son, who accidentally took a shot and hit Henry, grazed him slightly, no real injury, who they found out were leaving the forest. And then after that, they continued on into the forest, where they found a body. They followed a blood trail where they found a body. Aldous Pinnery, in his skills of tracking, was able to lead them into the forest where this blood trail went, and they discovered a body there that was stabbed and wounded. Where we left off last was the group here deciding that they were going to go ahead and continue following the trail that the now corpse, the dead body, came from, who was potentially one of the artists that they were told about by the hunter and his son. They were told that there was a group of artists that were out here painting, honing their craft for school, and they suspect this might be one of them. So they found his trail of where he ended up, unfortunately, dead on the ground there, and they are following that deeper into the woods. So that's where we have left off. Anything anyone else wants to add? Anything that I left out, or anything that you can think of that should be brought to everyone's attention?
Did they mention if these painters were doing still life, or
they were
not of any importance?
Yeah, one of the hunters, or the hunter that you guys ran into, who was leaving the forest with his son, who by the way you stole his orange hunting vest and his rifle, and left him walking in the woods without protection and without protective gear.
We acquisitioned it.
You acquisitioned it.
It was more of a commandeer
You commandeered it for your own purposes. He actually did mention, because someone commented on were they painting the trees, and he said, well, they're not painting the trees, they're painting on canvases pictures of the trees. So it sounds like they were doing nature paintings, and that's why they're out here.
Did we identify who it is? The body in front of us?
There was people. You all looked. You turned the body over. You searched the body. Other than the hunting knife, the very, very old hunting knife, as determined by Samuel, he was able to look at it and determine that it was a very old hunting knife. Other than that being near him, there was no other identifying information. He did not have a wallet. He did not have any ID. He did not have any papers. He was just wearing a pair of overalls and a T-shirt that were, speckled with paint. Some shoes that were speckled with paint, and he was covered in blood.
And wasn't it? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. The person, young, old, middle-aged.
It was a young person, probably early 20s.
Okay.
Can I make a first aid check
I thought it was...
to see how, how coagulated the blood is?
Yeah, we can do. I mean, you guys technically have already moved on from there.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, you guys are walking into the woods now. You've left. If you'd like to go back,
no.
we can do that. But from where you guys are now, you have started following the trail, heading back into the woods in the direction that you believe that the painter came from when he was stabbed.
Okay.
Oh no, just wanted to confirm that.
We had marked our.
Sorry, go ahead.
Our primary two, correct?
Say that again.
We had marked our primary trail, the one that we had originally come off.
Yes, you guys were originally following one trail when you saw the blood splatter and decided to follow the blood trail, which led you to this young man. But yes, you can also find your way back to the original trail that you were following. So you guys have basically split off from the trail you were following the entire first day, and you were following a new trail, essentially the blood trail left by this young man, who you assume is one of the artists, one of the painters you were told about by the hunter and his son.
Okay.
So does everyone kind of caught up? You know where you're at?
Mm-hmm.
So just to be clear, the main trail was leading from the point where the gunfight happened and the shell casings were found, and the secondary trail is the one where we found the dead body, and we are following
and the blood.
And the blood, correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the original trail you were following was the original trail that you assumed to belong to the kidnappers because it led from the crime scene, from the shootout originally where the young strong girl was taken along with the ransom money. You followed that trail all the way up until a certain point when Aldous spotted the blood trail, followed that, you guys found the dead body, and you are continuing to follow the blood trail where that person came from.
Okay. Cool.
So you guys kind of split off just a little bit.
And Aldous was leading the way still, correct?
Aldous, yes, has been leading the way. Aldous knows this forest, not trails. There are no trails out here so much to speak of, but he is a tracker and a hunter and knows these woods.
Right, and I just off recollection, I believe you said that this was deeper into the forest than he had been before.
Who,
This is
Aldous?
yeah, this was sort of uncharted territory for him.
Yeah, to a degree. I mean, he knows the woods, but again, even though he's a hunter and a tracker, even he hasn't explored every foot of these woods. So there are obviously going to be areas that he's not familiar with completely. He has vague ideas about what area he's in, what direction he's going, that kind of thing. But
Right.
he hasn't stepped foot in every part of these woods.
Right, and I'm just sorry. I'm just trying to get everything back together here.
No, that's okay.
Thought it was he hadn't really traversed the middle part of the forest very much, and I thought we were starting to get closer to that area.
Probably. You're getting deeper into the woods,
Right.
so it's probably not some place Aldous has spent too much time in. It's like I said, it's deep woods. So he mainly his job, if you will, his career is basically to take hikers and hunters out. So he sticks to certain areas that he knows very well. But the deeper you go in, even he is a little bit out of his element.
Right, and this was day 2 as well of our trek.
You are at the start of day 2, yes.
Right. And you just had all those weird dreams and stuff like that the previous night.
Yeah, you remember the idea of having dreams, but you don't exactly remember what the dreams were.
Right. Yeah, sorry, I'm just starting, like I said, just putting everything back together in my brain.
So, like as we are walking, Samuel is going to kind of walk up to Deputy Collins and Deputy Collins, do you think it's wise to venture further into this woods?
I mean, the guy who really would be Aldous on such a thing, seeing as how he ventured the most into the woods.
Indeed,
He has a much more intimate relationship there.
That may be true, but we are not all this Pinnery, are we? And what about the girl? Are we diverting ourselves from what is it that we seek? I only ask, since you are the authority around here, what would be the best course of action?
Well, it's honestly kind of hard to say. We haven't really turned up that much other than what's back there. And I guess it's seeing as how I'm not all that intimate, and from what we had tracked up to this point, any indication of real activity was over here on this particular path. Little side note, wasn't that, I can't remember what else was on that main path. Was that the way that the kidnappers had gone, or that
the main path is the one you assume the kidnappers have gone down? It was just a very obviously worn, like basically Aldous was able to track their trail, their broken branches, ruffled leaves, underbrush, that kind of thing. He could see from the crime scene leading that direction that there was an uninterrupted path. You didn't find anything specifically, but you did see the trail going from the crime scene into the woods on that trail.
Right, where it looked like no one had made no cover up any of the any trace of a path.
That's right. It looked like it was a straight shot from the crime scene. someone basically going, back into the woods.
Right. And then I slightly remember we started taking off on this path. Didn't we kind of put it to a vote? We all decided, or the majority decided?
Yeah,
Okay.
to follow the blood trail.
Right. All right, so back to Samuel. Also, there's a blood trail here, and there was no blood trail on the main path. So
Indeed.
I feel like this might also take more precedent.
Indeed. It's just, you see, these woods, they seem to be closing all around us. It's just nerves. Think nothing more of it, Deputy Collins. You lead, and I shall follow.
Aldous,
Yeah,
lead the way.
that's what I've been doing. I continue to lead the way.
So you guys delve deeper into the woods. You were kind of, coming into it, and as you delve deeper into the woods, you see the trees, they just look more gnarled. The light is becoming dimmer. The sounds of animals and birds are becoming, erratic. There's birds here, there's birds there. You hear the buzzing of insects. You realize that it's becoming more uncomfortable the deeper you go. You walk for several hours into the woods when all of a sudden you stumble across a trail of tire tracks that are cut through the forest floor. Kind of mud and grass pushed out of the way as a truck has passed through. Someone go ahead and make a navigation test.
Aldous.
I think someone else might want to take the reins on that one.
Oh boy.
Oof. Mine's pretty bad, but
Mine's pretty bad too.
Never mind, I'll do it.
Wrong button.
Green one?
Yeah, the other one. Okay.
Given that Samuel is a used car or car salesman. I think it's used car, right?
It doesn't matter. Yeah, car
Okay.
salesman.
Looking at the tire tracks, could I use, like, say, my knowledge of automobiles, vehicles, and say drive to see if the tire tracks are like deep, kind of thing, how big are the tire tracks, because 1920s there might not have been that many vehicles. Trying to see if I can understand more from just looking at the tire tracks, whether it was like heavily laden truck or a light truck.
Yes, you can do that, and because that is such a great investigator idea, I will give you 2 bonus die to that.
Ooh.
So instead of rolling the green one, you do roll the white one.
Okay. Oh, nice. And drive auto?
Yeah.
Or,
Sure, yep.
Okay.
Oh. So because of the terrain, whether it's the mud, the grass, recent rain, something, you don't know what it is, but you're unable to really determine what kind of vehicle it is. You do know, though, just from your history, just from your your profession, you do know that it is large and likely a truck. But that's all you're able to gather from it.
And Samuel is going to look at Mr. Pinnery. Do you think there are trails up all the way into the forest wide enough for a truck like this? That seems strange.
Let me think about that for a second. Do I know whether or not this area would be easily navigatable by truck?
You know that the area north of you is called Somerset, and there's some traffic out that way. There are some work camps out that way. So you just know from kind of knowing the area that there's not much out there, but trees and occasionally a small lake.
It'd be pretty difficult to navigate throughout here, but I don't see why someone would be unable to.
Indeed,
What
indeed.
would be the reason?
That's a better question, don't you think?
Could be the artists. I don't know if it might have been their truck.
A bunch of hippies driving a truck? I doubt it.
Yes, yes. I cannot understand the reason for someone to be out here, get a good day, paying job, rather than coming out here and painting the trees in the middle of nowhere.
Well, I mean, these trees are kind of messed up. I don't know if it's just me, but it's kind of creepy in here.
Thank you, Henry. That was exactly the thoughts that were on my mind. Creepy
Right?
is the word indeed.
Is it? I'm not a big forest guy. Aldous, is it usually like this? This deep in the woods.
Is it?
While the deeper you go into the woods, Aldous knows that it's normally a little darker, a little more dense. It can feel more ominous. He can't really recall specifically that the trees look more twisted or gnarled. It just seems to have that feeling. He lets you know that in fact it does feel darker than it normally does.
There's something thick in the air. It looms heavy on my shoulders, but as far as I can tell, a tree's a tree, right?
Yeah. I don't know if it's just with the girl missing, but it's not super great in here.
It's probably just your nerves. We did see that corpse earlier. That could shake a man to his core.
Yes, yes. Indeed. It did shake me up pretty bad. I cannot make any sense of it. The body in the woods, artists running about, and unsafe hunters.
5-minute interlude.
Ooh.
Yeah. So,
The 5 minutes?
Out of character here. Quick question. Cypher, you said
And we resumed.
Okay. Where do we leave off? You guys were looking at a trail, a looks like tire tracks that were running across the forest floor.
Yes, and I think we determined that while it is not improbable, not impossible, it is strange that a truck of this size is being ridden or driven through this dense and thick wood.
Yeah, you do think that is somewhat odd, considering there's no real road here. This looks like the only trail, the only pathway, is what has been made by this truck. Go ahead, and anyone can make an investigation check.
Investigation.
is there such a skill?
Or a there's some kind of skill like that.
spot
Spot
hidden. We've got spot hidden.
Spot hidden work?
It's not really hidden. Go ahead. Basically, you know what? Yeah, go and make it an intelligence test. Anyone can make it an intelligence test.
Ooh.
Man.
Damn.
Henry.
Ooh, Samuel.
All right, so
Smart boys.
So Aldous, he looks at it and just kind of scratches his chin and shakes his head and said, I don't know. I've got nothing. But you others, you realize that the path looks a little too well worn for it to just be a single drive-by of a vehicle. Something has come across here multiple times. This isn't something that just came by once and not just recently, but something that's gone by a couple of times along this roadway, if you will. That isn't a roadway.
Samuel kind of like looks at the tracks and, well, could it be, gentlemen? Could it be? Do you think this is being used by someone to traffic illicit goods?
Like children?
That's exactly where my mind was taking me.
Has there been a history of multiple kidnappings in the area? I just know of the one.
The deputy would know that this is the first kidnapping ever in the town.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's not the kidnappings after all. Maybe it is. There were gangsters involved, weren't there?
Maybe.
And maybe this is their smuggling route.
That's possible.
There was a murdered person.
Could be bootleggers.
Indeed. And we are not very far from the border, are we?
Doc, are we?
Not far from what? I'm sorry, say it again.
The border with Canada.
The border?
Yeah, we're in Vermont, correct? So are we like, one could say we are close enough to the Canadian border to, if somebody wants to smuggle things?
You're on the East Coast. You're not. You're close enough, I guess. If someone wanted to do something like that, but this isn't a common route for that kind of thing.
Okay.
But it is, I guess, if someone put some effort into it, they could do that.
However, these are and very capable of easily hiding a moonshine distillery or operation.
Does the trail of blood stop here?
No, actually, go ahead and whoever was following the trail of blood, you can continue to make what check was I having you do? I'm sorry. You were doing a spot hidden or
spot hidden? Yeah, both Aldous and the deputy I remember were.
Well, we've got spot hidden and we got track.
Yeah, so you guys can make either of those. So yeah, the deputy, he sees where the blood trail kind of continues, where it continues across these tracks, not necessarily going along these tracks, but it going across and a little further into the woods.
Can't imagine whoever was using this truck had anything to do with it necessarily.
Yeah.
Since the blood doesn't lead to the tire tracks.
Just as you guys are standing there, kind of discussing the tracks that you've found, the blood trail that you've been following, kind of trying to figure out what your next steps are, you hear a low rumbling off in the distance, and there's a kind of a sound of an engine and a low hum that Samuel recognizes as a truck.
Could I also make a drive auto to determine?
Sure.
Okay. That was a good roll.
Well, gentlemen, I think something is approaching us. Maybe the truck that left these tracks. Shall we hide and see who it is and what they're up to in this part of the forest?
The rumbling starts getting louder.
Oh, we should hide, just in
I
case.
see. Yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea. Let's look for cover.
Yeah, looking for cover.
Dive into the bushes.
There's cover all around you. I mean, you're in the middle of the woods, and this just happens to be a obviously man-made, truck-made trail cutting through the woods, but it's not a permanent trail. It's temporary, so obviously it's not a real road. So there's no curb, there's no anything. There's bushes, there's shrubbery. You look around, there's gnarled trees with their, bark kind of peeling off. There are lots of places to hide.
Right. I would suggest maybe we take a lower vantage point since there's so much undergrowth and fern and so many ferns that coat the forest floor. It may be easier to stay low.
Indeed.
Go ahead and everyone make a stealth test, and because you're in the woods, it's going to be very easy. You're going to get 2 bonus die. So not the green one, but the white one. So if there's any success, it's a success.
Awesome.
So you all succeed in finding a place. Deputy almost did not. He kind of looks around. He's looking left and right while everyone finds their hiding spots. And then finally, him and Henry both at the last second find a place to hide. As you find your hiding spot, you see a truck kind of coming over a little hill, kind of slowly plodding along. Because it's not a paved road, and their shocks aren't the best in these older trucks, and it's kind of slowly creaking along, bouncing around. You can see it displacing mud and grass, and you can see it heading towards the north, the direction that you guys have kind of been going, the direction you've been going in the past. And you see someone sitting in the driver's seat, and he's driving on the trail as you guys, and getting closer to where you guys are all hidden. You see him coming around. What is it you would like to do?
So we see how many. There's only one person in the driver's cab.
You see one person driving the truck, and that is it. It looks, on inspection, it looks like some kind of a work truck, like a water truck, or something along those lines. It has a big tank on the back.
Oh, there's a tank on the back. I see.
How slow is the truck going?
It's going pretty slow.
Is this related to the owner of the company? The company for which the guy whose daughter was kidnapped. That guy. I forget his name.
Yeah, go ahead and make a. Well, I mean, it's going slow enough. You would see the Strong Water logo on the truck.
Oh.
All right, I'm gonna turn to the party and just sort of whisper toward him. I'm gonna come out with my badge drawn. You guys, I believe they all have weapons, correct? They all have weapons?
I have fists.
I have a rifle.
I might have a gun. Yeah.
So you guys cover me?
Be careful, Deputy Collins. We will try and cover you, but jump out of the way if that person doesn't stop.
I'll definitely be jumping out of the way if that's the case. And so the deputy will stand out with his hand raised to kind of signal to stop with his pistol in the other hand.
So you stand out, you step out of your hiding place as the truck slowly makes its way up the, torn and worn path that it's obviously made in the past. You put your hand out holding your shield in front of you, and the truck immediately comes to a stop. You hear a screech. Well, not so much a screech on mud and dirt, but you know what I mean. As the brakes are triggered, there's a squeaking sound, and then the truck comes to kind of a lurching stop in front of you.
The deputy will slowly walk to the driver's side window.
So you come to the driver's side window. You can all pull your tokens on.
So much work.
So much work.
Why is mine not? There he is. I hope I didn't
Wait,
put
how
two
do you
on
pull your
there.
tokens on?
What's going on?
Click and drag your sheet. Yeah.
Why can't I make it any
Go to your-
smaller?
Go to your PC and just...
Ah,
There you go.
thank you.
Okay.
So everybody else is like over here in the woods still?
Yeah, I guess so.
And then it would just be me then right here, yeah?
Yep, so
Aldous doesn't
you...
want to be near us.
This is what?
Aldous doesn't want to be near us.
All this is true. Take a low vantage point. Screw you guys, I'm going high.
So you come up to the truck, and there is a man with dark hair and a mustache who's driving the truck, and he kind of looks surprised to see you out here, and he says, "Oh, what can I do for you?"
Curious what business you might have with this particular truck out in this deep into the woods.
What do you mean, what am I doing with this truck out in the woods? I'm part of Mr. Strong's survey team. We're out here surveying an area to bring water to the town. What are you doing out here?
Investigating the kidnap of Mr. Strong's daughter. Just found it a little odd to see one of his trucks this deep in the woods.
Mr. Strong's daughter was kidnapped?
That's correct.
Well, no one told us that. We've been out here for going on a good week now.
And
What's that?
Samuel will kind of shout from the woods, "Deputy Collins, check the tank."
Mind if I check the tank?
Check the tank? Why do you want to check my tank?
Protocol.
Protocol? Well, I don't know what kind of protocol means you have to check my tank. It's just a water tank.
Well, I could also check the cab if you'd like.
I mean, I'm not going to stop you. You have a badge. But I guess I still don't understand quite. Wait, do you think I have something to do with Mr. Strong's missing girl?
I'm not implying anything, and I'm not implicating you of anything. Just trying to be thorough.
Well, that's okay. Well, like I said, we're part of a geological survey looking to mine a deep well for water for the town.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I don't question you on that part. I just like I said, I'm just trying to be thorough, and I just want to turn every stone, check every tank, if you follow my meaning.
Can we hear the conversation from where we are?
Make a listen roll.
Okay.
In the meantime, the deputy will make his way over to the tank then.
So you make your way over to the tank, and it's a large orange kind of rusted tank with a ladder on the side. You climb up, and Aldous heard everything from his vantage point. Just by the way, he heard the whole conversation. But anyhow, the deputy makes his way up the ladder. You can see the driver. He's kind of looking in the rear view mirror as you're doing this. He's just watching you climb up and climb up. Your feet kind of clanking on the steps one after the other until you get to the top. You can hear the normal sound of the metal as you climb up on top. And when you open the tank and look inside, you see water reflected back at you. Just lots and lots of water.
Can I reach my hand in there and just kind of...
You can reach your hand in, but the tank isn't full, so the water isn't in reach.
Okay. Go ahead and close the hatch up and climb back down.
Like, well, what I tell you, just water.
Again, like I said, I'm just trying to be thorough. Now you said that you're part of a team that's out here?
Part of a geological survey team. We were told that there might be water, a reservoir, a deep one. We're out here to drill, dig, and explode for water.
Where is the rest of this team exactly?
They're up north. We have
Farther
a camp up there.
Up this homemade path?
Well, you see the trail I'm following? That's where I'm going.
Okay. Now I'll turn and signal for the rest of the guys, just kind of give a wave indicating that it's okay to come out.
Samuel will step up and stand behind the deputy.
Just, never mind. This is the rest of my party.
And he obviously
looks
surprised as the rest of them come walking out of the woods. What are you doing? What are you all doing here? What's going on?
Given the fact that Samuel has worked at the water company, does he by chance recognize this person in the truck?
Say that again?
I believe in Samuel's history, he worked for the water company before he opened his car dealership.
Correct.
Does he recognize this person in the truck?
You do not recognize this person. You were part of the water plant. This is probably like a third-party contract survey team, someone that you've never worked with before.
Okay.
As the foreman, does Henry have any, has Henry heard of this, this job?
You can, if you're curious about it, you can go ahead and interact with him. You can ask him, what outfit are you with, that kind of thing.
So Henry will kind of walk up. Hi there. Sorry, your name?
My name I'm James. I'm James Stanton. Who are you?
Hi, James. I'm Henry Stevens, the foreman for Mr. Strong's water company.
Well then, we're out here for Mr. Strong. My regards to his missing daughter, but I should probably be on my way to get back to work.
Of course. Just wondering, what outfit are you with? I don't think I wasn't really informed about this. I don't know if I think it's above my pay grade, but, still.
Well, I'm working for Mr. Strong, of course. I'm part of the survey team.
Okay.
I mean, the survey team is headed up by Mr. White, Carl White, if that's what you're asking.
Yes.
We're a third party contract. We don't work directly for Mr. Strong, but he hired our survey team to come out here and look for water under the ground.
Well, how long have you been out here?
Well, like I was telling the deputy there, we've been out here for about a week.
I'm assuming you haven't really interacted with anyone else out here aside from us and your party. Is that fair to say?
Only the guys that I've been working with, Mr. White and some of the others, were the only ones out here that I knew of. This is the first I'm hearing about Mr. Strong's daughter going missing. No one's told us anything about that. But as far as I know, that's it.
In your time out here, have you noticed anything strange or suspicious?
Just you folks. You're the only other thing I've come across.
As he's talking to the group, could Samuel kind of like insight or something like that into this person, right? As a car salesman, he kind of likes to read people's body language and
exactly. You can make a psychology test or something something similar to that you think might be more appropriate.
Psychology is good. Yeah. Okay. You can try that. Ooh, yes.
So as he's talking and you are, standing back, you're kind of listening to him talk to the deputy. You're listening to him talk to Henry. He seems very wooden and distant to you. He doesn't have the normal inflections and speech patterns of someone who's just having a normal conversation with someone. He just seems very kind of cold and wooden. But that's, your take on it anyhow.
Okay. So at this point, so Samuel seeing that, kind of realizing that there's something off about this person in front of him, he kind of like casually walks up and tries to strike an off-topic conversation about, so it's you guys have been out here long, and how do you guys get your supplies, and who helps you out here? Are you all out by yourself?
He looks at you and he kind of looks you up and down. He looks over at the deputy. He looks at the other two. You can kind of see a look on his face, like he's somewhat confused by all of the questions. And he says, well, we have trucks. That's how we get our supplies. We have someone go back in town when we need something. I don't understand what all of this is about.
Who's the person that goes back and forth?
We draw straws.
Yeah, and you do seem to have a pretty old truck here, but I must say it is in very, very good condition. And how do you guys keep the truck running? I mean, I don't see a mechanic shop or anything of that sort around here. Is this the only truck you have?
This is the only truck, but we're all a survey team. We have engineers and mechanics back at camp. Are you guys questioning me about trucks and supplies? Isn't there a little girl out there that you should be finding?
Indeed. You see, but we have seen quite some few strange things out in the forest today, and we're just trying to kind of understand what's happening around us. If you'd be so kind to indulge us in some few more questions, it would be really helpful. You see, we're trying to see who could have had access to the girl and how could they be in the forest, and kind of Samuel kind of rambles on, trying to see if he can get this man to, continue to behave in that strange way so the rest can pick up on it.
So you continue engaging him in conversation, and he continues answering your questions. He's obviously somewhat aggravated and perturbed. If the others would like to make a psychology test, they can.
Probably not my strong suit. I can give it a whirl. Oof.
Definitely not your strong suit.
I'll try it. Nope.
Oh man, we all suck.
Damn.
So
hey, I'm
as
changing my skill. I'm putting 15% into that.
yeah. I don't think that would even help.
No, probably not. No, not with a roll of 61. No.
Yeah. So as you continue your conversation, you're kind of fast talking him, and he's becoming obviously annoyed and irritated. The others are just kind of standing there and looking at you. Talk to this gentleman and kind of fast talk him, but they're not picking up what you're trying to get them to notice.
I mean, but we can we can see that he's physically becoming agitated, correct? I mean,
you can
it's
see
probably
that,
going to
yes,
be drawn across
absolutely.
his face.
Absolutely, you can tell that he's becoming agitated and annoyed with the constant questions. But to you, it just comes off as someone who is obviously annoyed with all the questions. There's nothing abnormal about how he's acting.
Okay.
And once Samuel realizes that the questions are kind of going nowhere, he says, "Well, we do seem to have held you up quite a bit. I will leave it up to the deputy to, if it's all right for him to let you go or have any more further questions for you. But I would like to ask, you seem rather, how do I say this? And do not take this the wrong way. Kind of wooden. I think that would be the word. Wooden. I meet a lot of people on a daily basis, and I see all sorts of, happy, sad, laughing, crying, folks who are jittery, folks who are calm and reserved. You come off a little, how do I say, wooden.
And he just kind of gives you a blank stare.
Yeah,
and he doesn't say anything.
That's what I
and
mean. That's exactly what I mean. You're giving me that wooden look right now.
I'm not sure what you mean by wooden, Mr. Montgomery.
The driver looks at the deputy and he says, "Am I good to go now?"
Can I make an intelligence to try and understand what Samuel is trying to imply?
You can go ahead and let's see. What would be a good test for that? So you think he's obviously intimating something, but you want to try and pick it up. I think that would also. I mean, that's. That's kind of also a psychology test. I mean,
And
let's see. Let's see. I'm going to say psychology unless you can give me a good reason for why something else might be a better role.
Well, like I said, I asked about intelligence because I figured, if anything, I could use that or possibly education. I would assume that it applies to my education or my ability to understand things. And if
Okay.
he's trying to be blatantly obvious that he's hinting towards something or trying to,
Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. There is
get-
a listen. There is a listen. Go ahead and make it a listen. But since he's being so obvious about it, we'll give you a +1 die, +1 bonus die. So you roll the white one.
still probably not going to be very good.
Ooh.
So it would be the 0
terrible.
and the +1. They're both fails.
Yeah, pretty terrible at this.
So you kind of nod your head and you think that Samuel is kind of talking just a little odd. He might be hinting at something, but you're just not sure what exactly he's hinting at.
Okay. So the deputy's just gonna arc an eyebrow at Samuel, and I'm not sure what you're getting at, Mr. Montgomery, but I think we've taken enough of this good man's time. I'm sure he'd like to get back to his survey group.
indeed, Deputy Collins. I'm sorry again to have held this man up. And Samuel kind of takes a step back and still has this quizzical look on his face, looking at the guy in the truck.
So the not the man in the truck, but James. James, he looks at the deputy and says, "Well, thank you, deputy. I'll be on my way, and I'll be sure to keep an eye out for the girl. If we notice anything unusual, we'll be sure to contact the sheriff back in town."
That would be much obliged. Now, one final question before you leave. You said that your survey group is located north of here?
It is.
Okay. Don't be too surprised if we show up there at some point before the end of the night.
Very well. I'll let the others know. And with that,
All right.
you can hear the gears grinding a little bit as he puts it into gear, and he starts taking off. And he's pulling away from you, kind of pushing grass and mud and everything out of the way. Samuel, go ahead and make a spot hidden.
Okay, spot hidden. Eesh.
So
It's not even a bad roll.
as he's pulling away, you think for just a second he's staring right at you in his side view mirror, but you're not sure.
Samuel kind of like, does like a body shiver, and he kind of, he's like, that was indeed a strange conversation, gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
What were you getting at, if you don't mind me asking, Mr. Montgomery?
I'm sorry, Deputy Collins, and I wish I could tell you more, but there was this strange, how do you say, speech? I mean, I don't want to cast aspersions on the man's character, on just the way he talks, but even that, it seemed very monotonous. no feeling. You see, when you're talking to me right now, there is some feeling. There is some sort of frustration, some sort of aggravation, little, as to why we are spending all this time out here. You see, and when I turn to Henry over there, his voice has some sort of questioning. There is the tone of the voice. But this man in the truck.
You feel that he was being elusive in his answers, or just maybe he was just kind of not emotionally detached or aloof necessarily, but just withdrawn?
Yes. How do you say it's and Doc, you can cut me off if I'm kind of making leaps here. It felt as if somebody's speaking to you, but they're not really there. I don't know. It may be the forest and the trees that are getting to me, but it felt as if he wasn't
Fake.
there when he was speaking to us. He felt he was somewhere else.
Like it was kind of automated?
Yes.
Almost?
Yes, like a machine,
Ah.
Yes, that's the word.
That's good and all, but don't we got a girl to save?
We do. Maybe we should just keep following this blood trail. I don't know.
I don't think it would be unwise to follow up on these surveyors either. So
of course.
we can, I think, push on until closer to dusk, and then try to make our way north, see if we can't find that camp. Maybe it would be wise to camp with more people during the night, especially this deep into the woods.
Sounds
And
like a plan.
that would also give us an opportunity to see this survey team and get a general feeling as to their, I guess, a date, and see if there's anything there.
Yes, Deputy, you're right. Though what Mr. Pinnery says is true as well. It's a very tough decision. This is the only viable clue we've had so far, and still feels like it's taking us away from the girl and the people who have kidnapped her. But I see no other way out.
I agree, Mr. Montgomery. It is. This is. I have that same feeling, but this is, as you say, the only other real clue we have outside of that main path we were on, and that wasn't really turning up much other than ruffled leaves and just signs of obvious use.
Indeed. Yes, you're right. Well, we'll at least keep an eye out about ourselves. There's something about that man in the truck. It gives me the shivers down my spine.
Well, that's not necessarily a bad feeling. That's something that investigators use. It's called their gut feeling. And sometimes it leads you on a wild goose chase. But I will at least make a mental note and keep that in mind.
So shall we keep following the blood path?
Yes, we shall do that. While the light is at least good.
Yeah.
Okay, so you decide to go ahead and continue following the blood trail. You actually follow this for some time. It's already late afternoon, early evening when all of this takes place, when you decide to follow it. And you begin following it again. as it's starting to get darker and darker, and you realize that the young man who you found stabbed had to have been walking for hours, bleeding, before he dropped dead. You are further and deeper into the woods. You can hear the buzzing of insects, and you can kind of smell the rotted undergrowth of decaying leaves and branches underneath everything. There is a slight breeze that occasionally crosses your face. And as you continue, it gets darker and darker. And before long, you realize it's turning into night. And you decide what you're going to do. Are you going to camp for the night? Are you going to try and continue along this blood trail for the night? Are you going to try and walk in the dark? But some decision needs to be made.
Well, gentlemen, I think I'm exhausted after this long day's trek, and we seem to be no closer than from when we started.
I agree. Mr. Pennery, what's your suggestion for this? On what we do next? We should camp? Do we continue following this blood trail? Do we try and find that camp of surveyors? Or do you think it's too late in the day now?
Look, I know you're all tired, but I can keep going on all night. The more time we take, the more likely when we find this girl, she's gonna be dead. Now, that's not really up to me now, is it? I think you should be making a call like that, Deputy.
Well, the reason why I ask is because you are most familiar with the woods, and you are the best of. I mean, what is in these woods that we should be afraid of at night? Anything? Nothing.
Not much that you shouldn't be afraid of during the day.
Do we have torches or something that would at least light up some of the way for us around us?
I believe in the beginning we had gotten.
You had gotten supplies. You had gotten lanterns and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
so we have light, so we can follow the blood.
Yes, I think Mr. Pinnery is right. Let's trudge on for a little while longer. But I don't think I could go all night long. I would like to reserve some of my strength in case we meet these gangsters we're after, or whatever else horrors these woods hold.
Okay. That's fine by me as long as everybody's in agreement there.
So you essentially continue on in the dark using your lanterns. But even with your lanterns, it seems abnormally dark outside. There's the occasional lightning bug that brightens up and lightens the dark sky in front of you. Once in a while, you'll hear an owl kind of hoo-hoo off in the distance. And you hear the insects kind of buzzing around, and sometimes even the flapping of bats' wings. But after about an hour of this, you realize that you are far too tired and the going is too slow to get any further.
We are still within sight of the blood trail, or have we?
You are just barely keeping up with it because it is so dark and you are so exhausted. You risk losing the trail.
Okay. And at that point, Samuel will kind of, well, Deputy Collins, I think I've reached my limit for the day. I don't think I can move on any further than this. Mr. Pinry, do you think we could find some place safe to camp?
I guess so, if we must.
Yeah, we risk losing the trail, so we probably should rest.
Yes, I can barely see my own feet in front of me. I'm afraid I don't want to lose this trail.
Yeah, the lanterns don't seem to be able to pierce the darkness as well as you might think that they would. It's odd.
Guess it's just natural darkness, I guess.
Yeah, everything
You
seems
said-
a bit strange and odd.
I mean, and Doc, you said that, I mean, we could hear the flutter of bat wings and everything, which would seem to imply that the forest is pretty still.
The forest. Yeah, go ahead and make a listen test.
Boy.
You can all make a listen test.
Woo!
By one.
Henry hears all.
Phew.
So you get further along and it's darker, and the lantern doesn't seem to penetrate the darkness like you would expect it to. And you hear the fluttering of bat wings, and as you hear kind of like a Henry comments, "Well, it's awfully quiet in here."
You know, Mr. Stevens, now that you mention it, I would have to tend to agree.
Strange. It's like a heavy silence.
Gentlemen,
Yes, perhaps we do make camp then.
yes indeed. I'm starting to get unnerved by all of this.
You know, there's only bat wings. There's not really bugs or anything.
Yes, but I sell cars for a living. I'm not an outdoorsman. I do want to find the girl, but this is all getting a little too much. This is not what I signed up for.
I agree we should stop. It's very unsettling how quiet it is.
Mm-hmm. Alright, well, let's break for camp.
So you guys find a clearing, somewhat of a clearing, a smaller area than the night before, where there's some level ground, and there's, a kind of devoid of some trees in a small circular area. And you go ahead and you build your camp again.
Why is Aldous always in a tree?
Yeah, Aldous, why are you always in a tree?
I didn't put it there.
Alright, the deputy is going to turn to everyone and suggest that we take turns on watch.
I'm happy to take first watch if you'd like.
I was just going to offer myself up to take first camp, actually.
Deputy.
But that's fine.
Deputy Collins, may I make a suggestion? Could we stay up 2 by 2s, if that would be okay? I don't particularly feel right to be up alone by myself.
Okay,
I'll take the coward.
Yes, sir. You may
Okay.
call me a coward, but
Then
I would much
All right.
appreciate your company.
let's not begin to divide here. Alright, so Mr. Stevens and I will take first watch. Mr. Montgomery and Mr. Pinnery, you'll take second. And yeah, I think that's how we said we were going to divide it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now Henry doesn't have a gun?
No. He's fists.
No, but the deputy has 2.
Yeah.
I do
Plug
have
deputy.
2, and we also have a rifle.
Correct. You can use my rifle also.
It's not going to be any problem to share weapons. I don't have a problem giving a pistol or a shotgun to
I think-
anybody.
I prefer the pistol myself. More experience in that.
Okay. So The deputy will offer up the pistol, just as precautionary.
Henry will take it.
So you decide on who's taking first watch, who is sleeping for the first half of the night, and everyone takes their positions in their tents, in their bedrolls, whatever it is that they brought out with them to sleep. I'm assuming it is Henry and the deputy that's on first watch. Is that what you said? Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So you're sitting there, and it's, contrary to what this picture shows, it's dark. It's somewhat an ominous feeling. There are mosquitoes buzzing around you. There is the cold feeling of night air on your skin as you look across, and you look through the woods, and you don't know if your ears or your eyes are playing tricks on you, but you constantly have the feeling that there's something around you, and you keep arching your head and turning around and looking, both of you. It's not a restful watch. It's something more akin to a high alert, is what you're feeling. Your heart's just a little quicker than it normally is.
Could the deputy make like a natural world check or something like that? Because you said it's chilly. It's chillier. It seemed like if it was a dense forest, it would stay a little warmer since there's so much cover.
Yeah, go ahead.
At least that's my personal experience. To see if he would recognize that.
So, with your experience in the woods and with your understanding of the woods, you would think it would be a little warmer than it is, but for some reason you just feel chilled, especially for this time of year. It's nearly summer, and it should be warm out here, and the forest should be warmer than what you're feeling right now. You just feel like things aren't as they should be.
Okay, so deputy will kind of look over his shoulder at Henry. Do you feel oddly cold?
Little, yeah. Thought it was just kind of like the nighttime,
Well, normally in the woods it wouldn't get as cold as it would in the open. It tends to trap a little more heat, and seeing as how it's getting closer to the summer months, it doesn't normally get down to these cooler temperatures, even at night. Keep on high alert.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel natural to me.
None of this has really felt right since we really got in the forest.
No, too right you are. Can we do like a spa or anything like that?
You can do whatever you'd like.
Okay. Just looking for anything out of the ordinary or out of place.
So your eyes are adjusting to the darkness. Despite the lantern, you have to, keep turning away from the lantern so that your eyes adjust to the darkness. And as you look out in the woods, you don't notice anything unusual or out of the ordinary. You're not sure if your mind's playing tricks with you, if maybe an animal has run by, maybe a deer, maybe a raccoon or something like that. But you don't suspect that there's anything out there that is basically threatening you.
Okay. But maybe the feeling that something is watching is what you're saying?
You just have an uneasy feeling.
Okay.
Not necessarily that something is watching you. You just feel uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Just continue on with the watch then.
Yeah.
Ah!
1 second, please.
Ah! Ah! Samuel kind of like pops up into his from his bedroll, and he's like kind of like starts gasping for air.
You alright?
I
Never mind.
can I don't know.
It's okay, just breathe.
Water,
Water?
yellow light. Oh. Is it somebody around us?
What are you talking
Did
about?
you guys hear something?
No.
Not heard anything.
Except you.
But I thought there was somebody around us. No?
No.
Mm,
Just
Not that we've noticed. Are you dreaming?
it's your nightmare.
And Samuel kind of like slaps his face hard. It doesn't look like I'm dreaming. I saw yellow light, and I think it was
From
reflecting
where?
of the water. From the forest, like from the center of the forest. I don't know.
You're talking nonsense, kind of. I mean, what do you mean? You saw a yellow light reflecting from the middle of the forest?
Yeah, there were yellow
Just now.
leaves, and
Just now.
now.
Hmm.
Okay, give me a moment.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was walking in the forest, and I was alone. None of you were around me, and this path I was on, it was just surrounded by trees, just trees, and this path was like a snake. Thank you, deputy. Yeah, and I was all alone, you see, and there were just leaves on the ground. That's it, dry leaves. It felt sick, and everything was withering, and everything was yellow. And I was trying to walk down the path slowly, in silence, and it felt like I was the only one there. Not even the wind was there, no sound. Everything was withering and sickly and dead. And I felt something calling out to me from down the path. I couldn't see what it was. It was just out there, just where I could not see it. And I kept following the voice, trying to get there to see what it was, and then I see a clearing, and in the clearing there was yellow light, like reflecting off water. Yeah, I mean, it was a forest. What else could it reflect off? Yeah, water. I think it was water. And then it was silent, and then I heard a snap, like a twig behind me, like somebody had stepped on something. And I quickly turned around to see what it was, and all I felt was this sharp pain just in my chest, like something jumped into my chest, like something plunged into it. And that's when I woke up, and he kind of slaps himself again. It's like, I'm sure I'm not dreaming. This is not what I signed up for, gentlemen. What is happening to me?
I think the forest is just getting to you. Sounds like.
Do you think this has anything to do with the man we saw earlier? Think he had anything to do with this water in the middle of the woods?
Maybe that man was unnerving, but I couldn't see if it was in my dream or if I was in a dream.
Are you getting the same type of feeling from this dream that you were getting from this man?
Ah, I think so. How am I talking to you guys? Do I seem
You seem agitated.
Ah,
Very.
okay.
Right. I'm gonna shoot awake at this point, mid-conversation, and start gasping, and I reach for my gun, and I turn, and I point it around, and circle. What's going on now?
Easy, easy. You just woke up from a nightmare.
You stand back. Stay away from me.
Oh, okay.
And I sort of aim my rifle at them, and then I take a moment, and I breathe in, and I lower it again.
He just has his hand in front of him. Just take it easy. Breathe.
Don't tell me to breathe, okay? I'm sorry for that disturbance. I try to stand up and collect myself.
What happened?
I'm not entirely sure, though. There was a voice. I heard a voice. What were you talking about before I woke up?
Mr. Montgomery mentioned something about a calling or a voice. Isn't that correct?
Yes, something called to me along the forest path, surrounded by yellow light and yellow leaves and death and decay.
I heard a man, although unfamiliar, who wanted me to join him in some sort of service. I don't really comprehend it all. And then I don't want to think about it anymore.
Did you see anything that was yellow or reflected off water?
Maybe a light, or just leave me alone. I need a moment.
That's fine, Mr. Pennery. Feel free to collect yourself.
Deputy Collins, I don't think I can continue like this anymore. I care for the girl's safety, but what good am I if I seem to be losing my mind out here in this forest?
Just take it easy. I know what you're getting. I know what you mean. There's a lot going on. We've seen a lot, and something seems to be going on with this forest or something. It's taking effect on us. Even as we're taking watch, it seems unnaturally cold out here, and that's unnerving and unsettling in its own right. But to hear about that's odd. Have you ever had dreams like that, or anything like that before?
No, Deputy Collins. I think I'm a collected and centered man. I don't easily give in to superstition and wild thoughts, but what I saw in that dream, I've never seen that before, never felt something like that before. I still feel like I'm...
Well, just like I said, just take your time, collect yourself, take another swig of water if you need to. Just, if you can, try and relax. Try to center yourself a little bit.
I shall, Deputy, but I don't think I can sleep again this night. I do not want to go to that place again in my mind. Not again tonight.
That's understandable, and it's almost shift change anyway. Maybe we won't get as be able to sleep as long as we anticipated, which is fine. We'll just get an earlier start. Wait for Mr. Pinnery to come back, and we'll talk to him, and then suggest maybe you guys, the two of you, take your watch.
Sounds good.
Good idea, Deputy Collins.
So, after waking up from a fitful sleep, Mr. Pinnery and Samuel are up for the night and decide it is time for them to go ahead and take their watch while Henry and the deputy take their turns sleeping. So everyone kind of swaps places while the others go in to sleep. There's some uneasiness and some uncomfortable feelings about what is going on. It's dark. It's cold. The people you're with are having nightmares. They're having nightmares and waking up. You're not sure what's happening out in these woods. You know something is happening. You know that you came across a dead body and that you've been following a blood trail. But you also know that you're exhausted and that you need to get some sleep.
Before we actually go to sleep, the deputy's going to turn to Henry and just, if you have any of these dreams or anything like this that Mr. Montgomery experienced, wake me up right away. I'd like to hear it while it's still fresh in your memory, and try to see if there's any correlation between the two dreams. Something's going on here. My gut says that this isn't the last we're gonna hear of this.
Well, first, I hope we get a good night's sleep, and we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
So, as Aldous and Samuel take the watch, relieved actually to be awake and no longer sleeping, no longer to be the victims of their own dreams, of their own minds. They sit wide-eyed, awake, letting the cool air hit their faces as they look out into the dark. The two others tentatively go to sleep. And then finally, when exhaustion, the feeling of being so tired hits them, they go to sleep. They fall asleep and let slumber take over. Now, as they're sleeping, Aldous and Samuel are sitting out and they're talking, small talk, chit-chat. The occasional sounds of animals, the occasional sounds of even a rustling deep in the woods. And they're not sure that everything that they hear is made from an animal. The two of you, go ahead and make a listen at a very hard level.
Ooh.
So, you're out there and you're hearing like a snap of a twig, some rustling of some leaves, maybe a bird flying off as something disturbs its nest on the ground. But you're not quite able to put it together. You feel like maybe something else is out there, but you don't know. You can't quite figure it out.
Mr. Pinnery, I'm getting a strange sense.
What do you mean by that?
I don't know, I just feel odd. Hunted, almost.
Look, now don't you go talking that nonsense with me, okay? We're on guard duty. We gotta stay alert and focused.
Yes, as you say. Did you hear that? What was that?
Look, okay? I'm gonna pick up a twig or something by my foot, and I'm gonna snap it. There are a bunch of things out there in the dark, and they're moving about and they're making noises. Most of it doesn't concern us. Now don't be wasting my time jumping at shadows, okay?
Okay. What did you see in your dream?
I said I don't want to talk about it.
Well, you're not a very talkative person, are you?
And you talk too much, so maybe there's a middle ground.
Well, I've never talked to myself. Maybe I can try that.
That seems even worse somehow.
Well, how long do you think before the sun rises?
Oh God! Henry wakes up and clutching his chest, and breathing hard.
Mr. Pinnery,
Oh God.
Henry, are you all right?
Yeah, he like pats his chest and like just he looks down. He's like trying to see what's going on.
You are here with us in the tent, in the clearing?
Okay.
And
Oh God.
Samuel tries to go and wake up the deputy. Is he able to wake up the deputy?
Yep, sorry.
Oh, okay.
It kind of got fuzzy there on me.
Deputy Collins, I think Henry doesn't seem to be all right. Henry, are you okay?
I
The deputy's
I think so.
the deputy sort of picks his head up, and he's obviously A, startled, and B, he's very groggy. What's going on?
There was some I don't know exactly what it was. Like something stabbed me in the chest. There's a yellow glow in the tree line, and there's a lake, and there's something behind me, and like there's tentacles or something coming up from the water. Something looking at me.
Tentacles.
Yeah.
Deputy sort of pinches his fingers on the bridge of his nose, and like he's got a massive headache, but it's more like he's just trying to process everything. Is it possible this dream that you have is influenced by Mr. Montgomery's dream? Because it sounds like there are a lot of not similar but exact details. I don't remember Mr. Montgomery mentioning anything about tentacles. But the stabbing and the yellow light and the twig snapping behind him, it all seems to be a match.
Yeah, there was like something that came out of the water with these eyes. Not like eyes that I've seen before, like almost inhuman. Just looking deep into my soul. I think I don't know if it's based on the dream that the two of you had, but this is ugh.
Oh, well, what time is it anyway? Do you have any clue?
I'm not sure. What's that noise?
What noise?
Was that thunder?
Sounds like booming. Henry will scramble out of the tent and kind of get up.
And Samuel kind
Sounds
of looks around. Mr. Pinnery, are you seeing anything out there?
I draw your weapons. There's something.
Okay, all right, everybody, let's calm down here for a minute. Put the pistol down. Remember that driver James about they were using dynamite. They were blowing stuff up.
In the middle of the night?
Maybe they do it in shifts. Who knows? I don't know how big the execution team is or the survey team.
But how would they sleep? Oh.
With earplugs? I don't know.
If we can hear this, I feel like earplugs is not going to help.
Maybe they're used to it. I don't know. That was part of the reason why I suggested that we try to get to go to see this camp, the survey camp. I don't know.
I just want to go home. Oh God, oh God.
It's okay. We gotta find the girl. But I want to go home too.
You can all make is there like a look or notice test or something like that?
For what? Like to listening in, or are we just
No. To notice something, to spot something.
spot hidden?
I think that's about all we have, really, is spot hidden.
Mm-hmm.
Thought there was something else we had been rolling the last.
Yeah, I thought so too. That's why I'm confused. But anyhow, I don't want to take us out of it. So go ahead and make a spot hidden check. So
Good job.
Aldous, with those last like couple of explosions, you notice you look up, and through the trees, through a clearing in the trees, you see some clouds in the sky, and up to the north there is a kind of blue light brightening the undersides of the clouds with each of those loud booms, those explosions. There's something going on up north. You're not sure what it is, but whatever it is, some kind of explosion lit up the sky, and you noticed the clouds brighten and lighten with each one.
I'm not entirely sure what's going on here, but this doesn't look like any normal dynamite. Look over there, and I pointed out. Unless it's not happening anymore, of course.
It's not. The explosions that you guys have heard are done now. You don't hear any more, anyhow.
Fine, then I'll still point in that general direction, Molly. There was a light, a flash in the clouds, and it parted a bit, and... No, that's definitely not dynamite.
In the clouds, you said.
Yeah, in the clouds. Look where I'm pointing. I'm pointing towards the clouds.
I thought you said it was to the north, though. To the north and the clouds. Sorry, I'm just trying to clarify.
For the rest of you,
myself.
to clarify, the sounds came from the north.
Maybe we should check what's going on.
Maybe we should go home.
I know.
Look, gentlemen, I'm just a used car salesman. Hey, yeah, I'm out here trying to find this girl. Yes, and I want to do right by Mr. Strong, but this is beyond me. I didn't sign up for this. Weird visions and strange dreams and loud booms and oh god, and kind of Samuel just slumps down and starts like quivering with fear.
Henry will put his hands on Samuel's shoulders. It's okay. We've come this far. And I mean, what can really be out there? It's probably just dynamite, but we should still go check it out. It's gonna be okay.
Gonna make his way over to Samuel, put a hand on each of his shoulders, on each of Samuel's shoulders, and look him in the face. He's gonna say, "Listen, there are 4 of us here. Okay, you've got myself and Mr. Pinnery, who we're experts of. I'm an expert with firearms. He knows the woods very well. If there's anything coming, we're going to be able to protect ourselves. If there's anything going on, we're going to get it figured out. I need you to compose yourself. Get it together, man." Do I need to roll persuade or anything like that?
Slap him around a couple times. That'll probably help him out.
Exactly. That's kind of where I'm going with this.
Sir, yeah, go ahead and roll a persuasion.
God damn it.
Yes, you are all experts. He's an expert at finding things and tracking things, and you're an expert of shooting things. What do? Do I sell it a used car if it comes to me? I don't think so, Deputy.
Alright, look here, Sam. What are you gonna do by yourself all alone? The 3 of us are moving forward. We can do this with or without you. Good luck finding your way back.
You're all mad. You don't even know what's in those woods. What's causing our dreams? Why go towards it?
You don't know what's in the woods either. Perhaps Mr. Pinnery is right. Just stick with us. Keep calm. Compose yourself. We're gonna move on, and we're gonna come out of this. And we're gonna come out with Mr. Strong's daughter.
Dead or alive?
Yes, that's what I'm worried about. I don't want to be dead.
She might be.
Does not say that.
We're gonna find her one way or the other.
We all knew that the possibility was there, that we'd find her and she'd be lifeless.
Still, I'd rather be more hopeful than...
Well, could we not just say that? Could we not just say that we found her dead and we came back because we didn't want to bring the body with us? And
No.
then Samuel just starts rambling and...
What happens when she turns up alive, huh? If.
It's okay.
Well, I'm not
Everyone
sleeping.
go ahead and make a listen check.
Everyone, you said?
Everyone go ahead and make a listen check.
Man, this is my strong suit. So terrible. Stop asking me to make
Yo,
all of them.
why is the old guy covering all the... I can see everything. I hear everything.
So Aldous, as you're all sitting there discussing whether or not you should return back, you hear rustling coming through the woods in your direction. It's after midnight now. It's 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and you hear rustling and the crunching of leaves, snapping of twigs. No one's trying to be quiet, obviously. There's obviously some sounds coming in your direction.
All right. Can I snap around and fire off a warning shot in the sky?
You can do whatever you'd like.
I would like to do that.
Okay. You go ahead and you turn around and you shoot off a shot in the sky.
What the heck?
As you
What
do
are
that,
you
the loud
doing?
sound just breaks the silence of the night. You can hear it just kind of piercing through the darkness and breaking the silence. There's a fluttering of birds flying off from their roost where they were also sleeping earlier. And as you do that, you hear someone yell out, "Wait, wait, stop! Hold on, hold on!"
All right. Step out slowly with your hands in the air.
And as you tell them that, a group of 4 steps out in front of you. 4 men who are all standing there, who you recognize. You all recognize them as being one of the other posses that left earlier, the same time you did, 2 days ago now, in search of the strong girl.
What are you guys doing wandering around in the middle of the night?
So one of the men who steps forward, he's kind of a large man with a bald head. He has strong features, and he steps forward and he says, "We've had enough of this. This isn't something that we didn't sign up for this. There's something going on in these woods. We've decided we're leaving. We're getting out of here." And the others kind of all nod in agreement with him. And you can see that they look exhausted and tired, like they haven't gotten any sleep.
And the deputy kind of walks up with his hand in front of him. "Now hold on. Everyone, just calm down a minute. What do you mean? Why do you want to call off your search and just leave?"
Well, we're tired. We can't take it anymore. We're exhausted.
Everyone is tired. Okay?
Yeah, well, we're a little more tired. We're a little more exhausted. I don't know what you guys have been doing, but we're getting out of here.
How can you make that estimate or gauge how tired or exhausted we are? We're up at the same time you are. You think we're sleeping much?
Deputy,
Let's be reasonable.
Let's not engage in semantics here. Let's get some information before they call it quits. I want to approach the group. Now, you 4, what have you learned about the girl?
We don't know where the girl is. For all we know, she's dead by now.
Fine, but what did you cover in your search before you decided to hightail it out of here?
We didn't find anything. We're just, we're out here and we're cold and it's dark and, a couple of us ate some bad food and we're ready to leave. We're getting out of here. And the others all kind of continue nodding in agreement with him.
So you guys haven't turned up anything in 2 days of wandering around in the woods.
Listen, I don't know what you don't understand, but we are done with these woods.
Hey,
We don't ever want to come back here.
All I am asking is to ask, what have you covered? We don't want to search with you. Already searched and waste everyone's time.
We searched the east of here. Okay? We went east. We came this way because we thought we were on a trail. We got lost. Now we're heading back down south, back towards town.
You got lost and you're going to make your way to town? That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, well, we know where south is now. As long as we keep going south, we'll head to town.
No. They kept saying something though. The same thing that Samuel was saying. Can I draw a, sort of pick up on that?
Anyone can make a psychology test.
God damn it. I'm not good with that. Oh, I almost got it. What was it? What they kept saying? What did they just keep saying?
That.
I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah, I didn't sign up for this. That's it.
Samuel.
Samuel is like, you guys are going back to town. How do you know where south is? You were just lost till you saw us. How do you know where south is?
Samuel makes a very good point. If you're lost, how do you know which way is south? You say you know it, but how are you determining this?
You know what? We were lost during the day. We got wandering around. We started walking at sunset. We followed the sun. You follow the sun, you know which way is which. We're heading out. But as far as their reasoning, Samuel, they're talking about being kind of cold and lost and someone eating some bad food. You noticed little ticks and little gestures, little eye movements, inflections of voice that let you know that's not really the reason that they're leaving. There's something else going on. They're wanting to leave for some other reason.
Gentlemen, I've had up to up my ears in nonsense these past 2 days, and I do not wish to be tarried with. Bad food? What do you mean bad food? Food doesn't go bad in this weather. What is it? What are you running from? Be true.
Listen. We said we're getting out of this wood, and then one of the other group members said, "We're leaving. We're leaving. There's nothing that you can do. We're leaving."
What did you see?
You know what? We didn't see anything.
You saw something. You are scared. I am scared too. But what did you see so that we know as well?
And then with that, they kind of shake their heads and kind of mumble something to themselves. Good luck with your dreams. And they push off and they start walking south.
Wait. Dreams. What do you mean by good luck with our dreams? What did you dream?
And they continue walking and they don't even acknowledge you. Oh, they're done.
Can the deputy call out and make like a persuade check against them to try and have
Sure.
them come back and explain? Okay.
Yeah. So how does that look?
The deputy just calls out, wait. Come back, just please. Explain these dreams. That's all we want to know about, and you can go about your way.
And so the larger guy, who's been kind of like the leader of the group, he turns around and he looks at you and he says, "You know what? We've had some bad dreams. We've had some cold nights. We're done with this forest. Yes, some bad dreams. Don't think badly of us just because we're leaving. These nightmares are horrible. 2 nights in a row now. We feel like we're drowning, getting stabbed in the chest. We didn't sign up for this."
Okay. Now, being stabbed in the chest, is there a yellow light? There's a pond or a lake in the middle of the woods? Does that sound familiar?
There's a lake. There's a monster.
Yes.
We're leaving. We're leaving now. And he turns around, and the rest of the group just kind of is just right behind him, and they storm off into the night.
And kind of turns back to the group and just he's shaking his head and he puts his hand to his chin. But what is going on in these woods? What is everybody? What is this dream?
This is not a coincidence. That's for sure.
Samuel then
Just kind of perplexed.
looks at the deputy and he says, "Have you had any dreams lately, Deputy Collins?"
I haven't experienced this lake, this stabbing. I don't know. what you guys are all talking about. Only thing I have to go on is what is being explained to me.
What makes you so special? How come you are not having any dreams?
I couldn't tell you. Perhaps it's nothing that's special about me, and it's something that's more special with you. What would make you more susceptible?
I don't know.
I don't know if it's possible. Maybe if this is something that's attacking our dreams. Is it doing it one at a time? I don't know. We don't know if Mr. Pinnery had the same dream or not either.
Alright, are you even listening to yourselves now? You're talking about something attacking us in our dreams. We're here to find some gangsters who stole a girl.
Yeah, but there's this common theme. It's the only thing.
Yeah, well, we've all been in the same environment, doing the same tasks. It's not that unreasonable that we'll have similar dreams.
This is true. We don't exactly know what drove the thugs, I'm doing air quotes, thugs, to kidnap Mr. Strong's daughter anyway, do we?
No. We should.
Can't imagine it would be a dream, but you never know.
I think we should go towards those explosion sounds. No, it sounds kind of crazy, but might find something over there.
And as you guys are talking, you start realizing that there's kind of an orange glow coming over the horizon through the trees. And you've been awake and you've been up and you've been talking, and the sun is coming up. Your night of sleep was fitful. Not very much rest, but none of that matters now because the sun is coming up and it is morning.
Oh, can't believe it's morning.
So tired.
Let's pack up and head north then, unless anyone is going to object.
We are walking towards our deaths, and you guys seem to be wanting to hurtle towards it.
We need to find the girl.
I don't care about the
Montgomery.
girl. I don't care about Mr. Strong anymore. Do you not see what's happening around you? We have a
Sam.
chance to get out of here.
If you were feeling so yellow, why didn't you just go with the other group, huh?
Because they are lost. They do not have you, Mr. Pinnery. How much ever I might not like your attitude towards me and towards the rest of us, I do agree that you are skilled in what you do. But we
That's
do have a
not-
chance to live and escape this.
Maybe it's nothing, though. Maybe we're just seeing things. And maybe they're just seeing things.
I do not wish to see them anymore. But if you are all adamant in going towards the lake, then I will follow you.
Adamant or not about going toward this lake, I don't know about. But I am adamant that we find Mr. Strong's daughter. And so far, the only one that seems to be keeping his head in all of this is Mr. Pinnery. While you might not like his attitude much, I can appreciate his level-headedness, and I can definitely appreciate his ability to navigate through these woods. And I would strongly suggest that we all stay together in this, and we all work together in this, and just do our best to forge on and conquer whatever dreams or animals or whatever might come up, and just push forward. Let's Let's do this. Let's find Mr. Strong's daughter. And let's be out of these woods.
Let's do it.
So you guys decide that you're going to continue moving on. As you do, as you're packing your gear up, you're taking your camp down, you're rolling up sleeping sacks, drinking some coffee built, that you've brewed over a stovetop fire, that kind of thing. Go ahead and everyone make a spot hidden check. So while you're drinking your coffee and maybe eating some bread before you head off, the deputy Henry and Aldous, you almost at the same time, you all kind of look through the trees, and off in the distance you see what looks like tents. You didn't notice it the night before because it was getting dark and the forest was obscuring everything. But now with the sunlight and with some sleep, and now that you're awake, you've had some coffee and some food, you look off and you look through the trees and see the white tops of what almost look like tents to you.
The deputy will just kind of turn and nudge Aldous a little bit and kind of gesture his, give a little chin nod in the direction of the tents, as if do you see what I think I'm seeing?
10.
Yes.
Search party, maybe?
Hard to tell from this distance.
I've got a scope on my gun. Can I get a better look?
We have binoculars too, didn't we? Have binoculars?
Yeah, you do. So yeah, anyone can use a scope or binoculars, and once you look through and you see a more zoomed up image, you do realize that these are the white canvas coverings of what looks like some temporary tents or cabin housing, something along those lines. You don't see any people in the immediate area, but you do see enough to see the tops of this white canvas and realize that yes, they are tents.
The deputy will ask Mr. Pinnery, do you see any smoke or anything that might indicate they had a campfire?
I don't see any signs of people.
It's odd. You think we should go up there and check it out?
I think so.
Hey, Sam, why don't you go out there and check it out? We'll cover you.
Me alone? But
You have a way with people, you're good with words, and we're good with guns, so...
Yeah, maybe we'll take that rifle, unless you would rather have it for protection. I don't see why you would need it. You are quite the smooth talker.
Yes. Yesterday I was, but today I can barely convince you guys to leave this place and go back home. That's not very smooth of me now, is it? I think maybe if somebody comes with me, it's Well, it's daylight after all. Maybe we could go halfway up there, and then maybe somebody could come with me, and I could see what's up with them. And uh, he kind of trails
I'll
off.
come with you.
Oh, thank you, Henry. Thank you so much. Okay. Maybe we can go now.
All right, let's head out there.
Henry, feel free to keep hold of that revolver.
Don't worry, it's not leaving my hands.
Mr. Pennery and I will cover you both.
So Henry and Samuel start making their way through the forest, and they're kind of trudging through the underbrush and the branches, kind of pushing them out of the way. Some of the branches are hitting them in the face. Some are kind of getting in their way. They kind of just have to struggle through to get to where they're going. But once they get to where they're going, Henry and Samuel, you both notice that you do, in fact, notice that they are tents, that you've come across some kind of camp. From a distance, you can see that it is a camp. Again, you don't see anyone, but you do know for a fact now that it is a camp out here. Do you continue on, or do you go back and get the others?
What do you say, Henry? Maybe we go back and bring the rest of them up here. How long?
Might be for them.
How long has it been since we left our camp and got to where we are?
It's maybe 15 or 20 minutes. You weren't that far away.
Okay.
You were far enough away to where you could just barely see the white canvas tops of tents. But it was probably a 15 or 20 minute walk.
Well, our goal was to talk to them, so let's go in and see if there's anybody here.
Okay. Well, you keep an eye out on things now, Henry.
Of course.
I do not like the look of this. Empty tents in the middle of nowhere. Okay. Okay.
Deep breaths.
And Samuel starts walking towards the tent.
Okay, so you guys, how do you do this? There's a way where you can actually move characters, basically split the party so that you can see the next scene where
I think it's
the others.
shift click, yeah? Shift click and drag or something?
Is it shift?
No, so what
click?
is it on a different screen? What we need to see?
Yep.
I see.
Control click?
No, that's the only way you can do that is if you put
like drag their tokens onto it, I think.
That's what I'm trying to do, but it's not letting me.
No. So what you do is this: on that particular screen, set dynamic lighting, right, and give vision to only Henry and Samuel.
No, there's a way to actually just do it so you only move two people.
Wait, I can check online.
I mean, I have you guys on the screen. I just.
Yeah, if you move
How
if you move the ribbon, then everybody sees it.
But if I move the ribbon, everyone sees it.
Yeah.
There's a way to do it, but anyhow, you guys get closer and closer to the encampment, and you notice that there are some standalone tent areas with some kind of plywood bottoms and tops. It looks like someone was camping out here. They planned on being out here for just a little while. It's not the typical throw up kind of tent where you just kind of put stakes in the ground, but in any case, you do notice that there are tents out here, but again, you don't notice any people.
I think he just
Okay, so Doc,
Yeah.
pull down that bar that shows you all the screens,
Okay.
and then click and drag Henry and Samuel's token onto the new screen, but not don't
Oh,
move the ribbon just yet.
yeah. Sorry, I was trying to tell you guys, but I couldn't. I was muted.
does that work?
No, I still see it.
What's going on here?
It's their names, I think, right? So you grab Samuel's name, which has Zypher on it, and you drag it to the new ribbon. Or
Yeah,
new
so, sorry,
page.
not the token itself, the name. Sorry, the name.
Okay, I just did that too,
And then you switch over, I think.
and I did.
No, doesn't work.
No,
You switch everyone over? I mean, I don't know.
I switched over. That's fine. That's fine. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. So let's not let the game get stalled because of it.
Okay.
So, but in any case, that you guys come across these tents that are there. They're semi-permanent tents, and it looks like again, you don't see anyone. The trees are crowding the area, and it's making it look darker than it is. It's more of an ominous feeling as you walk up, and it's silent in here. And you realize for the first time that there's no sound at all.
Oh.
At that point, Samuel stops and looks back, and he says, "Henry, I don't get a good feeling about this. Can we just go back and get the rest of them?"
Yeah, I feel the same.
Samuel kind of starts to like backtrack slowly away from the tent, but it doesn't turn his back to the tent. He's just like looking at the tent and starts backtracking.
Let's just hurry back to the others. This is creeping me out.
Yes, I don't think I can take this anymore. Creepy
Okay.
Trent. Let's get out of here.
We scramble back to the others.
Okay. So you guys head back to the other group. They're sitting there waiting for you.
Deputy, they are tents indeed, but there is no one there. It's
Absolutely no one.
and it's
There's nothing.
There's nothing there, just tents, and how do I say this? It's silent, complete, absolute silence.
Did you look in any of the tents or anything?
No, I did not look into any of these tents, and this has gone far enough, gentlemen. You can either come with me and look at the tent yourself, or we can go home. But this is gone too far.
Well, then, I guess we're searching some tents.
Yeah, I say we go up there then.
Yes, lead the way, because my warnings seem to be falling on deaf ears. So lead the way and lead us all into death's door. He kind of like gruffly steps back and he's like hangs his head low.
So you show them the way, and they kind of follow along as you lead them towards the tents. You walk through the underbrush, and again, branches are slapping you in the face, and pine needles are crunching under your feet. And oddly, that's the only sounds that you hear as you walk up and you notice the tents. Now, normally, this wouldn't seem odd to you, and Aldous actually knows this area somewhat, and he knows that these are tents that have been used for campers and for travelers in the past. He recognizes the area. But the fact that the trees are gnarled and twisted, they almost seem like they're in pain, and that the night or the light won't shine through the branches as easily as they normally do. It feels dark when it should be day. And the silence, there are no birds, there are no insects, makes you all feel very, very uneasy. I would like everyone to make a sanity test.
Sanity. Yes.
Easy.
Let's just throw gas on the fire with Samuel here.
Yes. Excellent.
Yeah, we're
I
like,
can't-
man, is it
is
here?
it
We can't
just-
hear anything, right, Sam?
It's just under sanity, but I can't roll it for some reason.
You can't roll it.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So I just roll willpower then?
Which is the same as sanity, so yes,
Yeah,
go
it's-
ahead.
All right.
That makes sense.
Okay, wonderful. So as you're sitting there, you can actually see Samuel becoming more and more stressed at what's going on here. He does not look comfortable being here.
Why are these tents like this? Why is it set up in this way? Why is there nobody around here? Why is it so quiet? Ooh.
It's okay, Sam. Just breathe. All right.
Samuel lose 2 sanity.
Hmm.
How do I mark that? It becomes from 50 to 48? No, 52?
Whatever your normal number is, it's -2.
Okay, 48. Okay, cool.
And Samuel is obviously becoming a little more disturbed by all of this.
Samuel, please calm down. Try and catch your breath. You're going a mile a minute here.
Don't tell me to calm down. Look at this place. Why is it so silent? Do you think this is natural for it to be this silent? Why are these tents here and why there's no one around?
You're asking some good questions, Sam.
I'm sure there's a logical explanation as to why these tents are here. As for the forest, it's the forest. There's obviously something odd going around here. There's a girl missing in the woods.
You speak of logic. Logic has left these places long time back.
Well, that's okay. Henry, will you stand here, guard, whatever it is, with Mr. Montgomery? Aldous, will you go with me to check these tents?
Sounds good. Whatever gets me away from his rambling.
Okay. Then Doc wants to take a quick break.
Sounds good. If you guys, I can pause the video here. And we're back.
So you've all come across the campsite and you start looking around. As you're looking around, you start noticing that there are actually paints and easels and different things scattered across the ground. There's a campfire that's long been extinguished. It's cold, just ash. And some of the tents are broken. There's a sign of maybe a struggle or a fight. You're not sure, but things are just scattered everywhere.
Mr. Pinnery, which tent would you like to investigate first?
The closest one, of course.
Okay. You think there's any cause for precautionary measures?
Just keep your gun drawn.
Okay. So the deputy will keep his shotgun raised as they approach the first tent flap.
So you notice the first tent flap. You come walking in, and as you come walking in, you see that everything there is disturbed. Something is wrong with the place. Things were knocked down. There was a struggle. There was a fight, and there are almost what look like drag marks leading outside of the tent.
What do you make of this, Mr. Penry?
Reminds me of the war. Something went down here. Let's keep looking.
Yeah. Is there anything that we can do to make like some kind of? I mean, there has to be something that we could do to make an investigation type of roll.
So as you continue searching the tents, go ahead and you can make spot hidden checks.
Okay. So in the first one.
Oof.
So the deputy, with his years of training of looking at crime scenes, with knowing what to see, what to look for, knowing when to notice that things are out of place, he actually notices that in the bushes outside of the first tent, not too far away, there is actually a rifle, what looks like a hunting rifle, and a large Texan style or cowboy hat sitting in the bushes.
And the deputy will turn to Aldous and gesture into the weeds. Do you see that there?
It takes him a moment, but eventually he sees what he's pointing to. Yeah. I don't like the look of this.
Wasn't that Hunter, right? His friend was out and was supposed to be heading back. Do you remember that?
And what about it? You think that's his?
I'm only guessing, but I'd say it's a strong possibility. Would you agree?
Well, I guess I'll go check it out.
Yeah, I'll go right with you. And the deputy keeps his shotgun drawn as they make their way over to the bush.
Okay. You walk over to the bushes and you kind of look through there, and you see that it's somewhat disturbed with what looks like drag marks, basically being grooves in the ground, disturbed branches, leaves, undergrowth leading to the north.
What does all of this mean? Can you make another spot hidden?
Sure, go ahead.
Just to kind of help investigate the area. No, okay. I don't feel like investigating the area.
What are the others doing as well? Henry, Samuel.
I'm keeping an eye on Samuel and just keeping an eye on the area, like just making sure no one approaches, or if they do, just to warn everybody else.
Okay.
Samuel is basically clutching his rifle and kind of wildly swinging it around.
Hey.
Okay.
The deputy will pick up the rifle and just kind of look it over
You look it over and it doesn't seem to have been disturbed. It actually doesn't even seem to have been shot.
Okay.
It's still chambered and loaded, with no signs of it being used.
Okay. The deputy will eject the bullet.
Okay. You
And
do that
then-
without any difficulty. There's nothing out of the ordinary there.
Right, and then just kind of put the rifle back where I found it. So I don't think we have any need for it. He'll pick up the Texan-style hat and kind of give that a quick look over.
And you look over the hat, and it's just a large cowboy hat. You know, it's a large Texan style, what they would call a 10-gallon hat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's you do remember, you recall the hunter and his son that were leaving on day one, talking about their friend, and this reminds you that they told you that their friend and his son were out here, and they said you couldn't miss him. He's wearing a large Texan hat.
Okay. Mr. Pinnery, do you recall at that hunter we met, he said that the man who was wearing, or the large Texan man, he had a son. Say we do a quick sweep of the area, see if we can't find him.
We should take this hat too, bring it back, see if this is what he was talking about.
That's a good idea. Doc, is that you?
That's that's my baby.
Oh.
who decided to wake up again.
Oh
That's
no.
quite all right.
So you guys look around the encampment, and you don't notice anything else. Nothing like a rifle. Nothing like a camp. Definitely no bodies. But what you do notice are a bunch of canvases, paintings, knocked all over the ground.
What's on the canvases?
So as you approach the canvases, there's several scattered everywhere, obviously. But Henry, you see a canvas of an owl on a branch, and it's peering out into the dark. Then you walk a little further along, and you notice a canvas of a painting of a deer looking through the trees, in an otherwise, deserted wooded area. All this, you're walking around, and you see, as you're searching the area, your foot kind of halfway kicks a canvas, and you look down, and it shows the moon shining down through some trees that are above you. Samuel, as you walk around, kind of clenching your rifle, worried about what's going on, you walk around and you notice a dilapidated old cabin with the door open and the dark outline of a figure within.
Does the cabin look like anything around here?
It's not a cabin that you've seen out here.
What and does the outline of the figure, like, is it like it just looks like an outline but nothing more, right? Nothing more to.
That's right. It's just a dark figure.
Just a silhouetted figure.
Mm-hmm.
He gingerly picks up the canvas, and if whoever's closest to him, he says, What do you make of this?" Why
And
are
then
these artists drawing?
These pictures.
Henry, as you walk around, you kind of stumble upon a painting on the ground, and it's oddly familiar. It's a figure seen from behind, looking out onto a black, watery lake, and there's something horrible rising up out of the lake.
Oh. Henry picks up the painting and walks over to the rest of the group. Check this out. It kind of looks like what I saw.
Can I do a spot hidden on the picture?
Sure.
Just trying to determine, what I'm actually seeing that I might recognize in the picture. Because I haven't had the dream, correct?
Yeah. 1 second. Let me put this baby's asleep. Let me put him back to bed.
That's fine.
Come on, guys. I want to go to bed with some Cthulhu in my brain. I want to see him rise up.
I still think we should head north towards those explosions.
I say we break and have a third episode.
Episode 3.
Mini campaigns are in vogue now.
Okay, well, sorry about that. I'm back.
So good.
Okay, so you look at the painting, and there's nothing that really stands out as being familiar to you. It just looks like a painting. Nothing in particular, nothing extraordinary. It actually looks like a student painted it.
What, I turned to Henry. What am I looking for in this picture here?
Henry will point it out. See, there's a creature that's rising from this dark lake, and you see it, right? It's what I saw in my dream. It's like the same thing. These students have basically painted. It's not a coincidence. It can't be.
Are you suggesting that the students had this dream as well?
If the other group did, because that's what it sounded like, then yeah, that's what I'm insinuating.
Okay. Aldous, you want to help me make a kind of a last sweep around the camp here? And I don't think we should stick around.
No.
And as
Well, where do you think all these artists went off to?
Probably north. To
I
that
don't know.
reservoir, maybe?
The drag marks that we've seen seem to lead toward the north. Everything seems to be pointing towards north.
Well, then I think we should head north.
So as you shuffle around, one last painting is kicked by Samuel. And he reaches down and he picks up the painting. And he looks down at the painting. And it's a path snaking its way through the trees. And the ground is covered in dead yellow leaves.
Ah, this is my dream right here. Somebody else had it. Why is this happening to us?
I don't know. Maybe once we find Mr. Strong's daughter, it'll end.
To hell with Mr. Strong's daughter and to hell with
Don't.
Mr. Strong. You guys,
He helped you develop the career that you have.
I don't care about my career anymore. You talk about logic. There were artists here. There were 4 people who were searching for her daughter, and they all had the same dream. What is the logic in that? Why do you continue to go towards this horrendous being or whatever it is? Why can't we
It's
just
just
go
dreams.
home?
It's just dreams, man.
Is it still dreams? I mean, these people have
know.
painted it.
And with the start of day 3, we'll end session 2.
Killing me, Smalls.